Everyone on audio visual yet? Apparently the recording has not started. Get started in just a moment. Good evening and welcome to the October 4th Westminster City Council study session. City Clerk Abby Fitch, will you please do the roll call?
Mayor Pro Tem DeMont.
Present.
Mayor Seitz.
Here.
Councilor Seymour.
Here.
Councilor Smith.
Present.
Councilor Scully.
Present.
And Councilor Bowles.
Here.
Okay, the first item tonight for us is reports from the mayor. Last week, a few of us enjoyed an evening with the Butterfly Pavilion. It was a great event. They took a bit of time on the stage to thank Westminster for 25 years of partnership, recognized that we had been key to their creation and their success. And even after 2025, when they intend to move to Broomfield, they hope to continue to have a strong relationship with the city of Westminster. Additionally, Councilor Seymour and I, along with Lance Johnson, our Director of Parks and Rec, and John Van, our landscape architect, went to the inaugural event for the National Laumang Memorial at Rocky Mountain Airport. It was a very joyous day, marking the efforts to try to have a national Laumang Memorial located in Colorado, potentially in this region and potentially even in Westminster. It was this first step in a long process to make sure we site it at an appropriate place, but we want to do everything we can to say thank you and appreciate the stories of the 35,000 Laumang who died supporting U.S. servicemen in the secret wars. It was a special event. They had many members of the Special Guerrilla Unit that immigrated to the United States after the war, and they also had quite a few widows of folks who had paid the ultimate sacrifice that came on. There was traditional dancing. Councilor Seymour, would you agree when we left there was maybe about 200 to 300 people there?
Absolutely, at least.
Yeah. They had restored an original plane that was flown. They were basically taking out the Ho Chi Minh Trail to try to disrupt supply chains, and they had it flew over us and parked right there. It was a beautiful ceremony, and we look forward to looking for ways to partner into the future. We also had, and I apologize, I skipped over this, on NADA on Thursday morning. We had a representative talk to us about the need for repairs at the Eisenhower Tunnel. Pretty compelling story about the public safety case and the need for some immediate repairs at Eisenhower Tunnel. It's such an important economic lifeline for the Front Range to the Summit County. So happy to see those are happening. And then we also heard about Front Range passenger rail and what is the latest and greatest going on with that. So if anyone has other questions, let me know and I'll be sure to answer them to the best of my ability. Those are all of my comments. The next item on the agenda are comments from City Council members. Councilor Scully.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Last Tuesday, I had the opportunity to do a walking tour of our downtown with Deputy City Manager Jody Andrews and one of our staff members. And it was wow. Our downtown is going to be amazing. Enjoyed walking through some buildings and looking at different pieces, got a tour of our new Origins Hotel. Really enjoyed it. So thank you. That was really enjoyable. And then on Wednesday, we did a few of us, Mayor Seitz and I, attended the ECPAC breakfast, which is the Early Childhood Awareness fundraiser, and got to listen to the importance of early childhood education in our state and some of the great things that some of the partners are working together to achieve, such as 2 of the entry-level courses into college are now free to students who want to go into that field. And I thought that was just a really great thing for our students, but also for our state as we try to create more opportunity for people to work in that field and for parents to have a place to place their children while they are off at work and trying to make income for their families. And then on Saturday, I hosted a town meeting with Commissioner Tracy Crafttharp and City Councilor woman from Arvada, Lauren Simpson. And we talked about the election ballot. And we had our guest speaker was George Stern. We also had guests from Arvada and Westminster. And I wanted to thank Deputy City Manager Larry Dorr for joining me. And we had a very, from the city, we simply read the ballot initiatives. We did not talk or discuss really what they were about, just read them off. But County Clerk George Stern did just a fabulous job really going through election integrity and what the process will look like this year. And he has some videos on the website. I think that would be the best way for you to learn about that process. And he is willing to do tours as well. So I may actually go have a tour because I thought it was pretty fascinating. So I encourage you to take advantage of those opportunities. Good week. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you. Anyone else? Councilor Voles.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I had a couple meetings last week. On Tuesday, this past Tuesday, the Planning Commission met and they received a presentation on the Harris Park Long Range Plan. No actions, no votes were taken. The members had questions and it was just kind of a give and take, kind of a Q&A, kind of a session. And then the Environmental Advisory Board met on Wednesday and they had received an update on the city's sustainability activities from Paul Schmeeken. And they also talked about how the city will begin helping advise HOAs on water conservation initiatives. So that was exciting. All the board members were glad to hear that. And those are the meetings I attended. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Councilor Seymour.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Looking ahead to this week, this Friday is two very important events in our city. The first one is one of our partners in the city that does an outstanding job growing home is having their annual benefit. That's in the past, it's been a breakfast or a lunch, depending on how that worked in their schedule. This year, coming out of COVID and the incredible work that they've done, they'll be having that at the Westin at 5 to 7 p.m. this coming Friday. And so you can, tickets are very reasonable. You can sign up for that at their site, growinghome.org. And also that evening, because you can't have just one thing on a Friday evening, the Westminster Chamber of Commerce annual Gala is that night where they'll recognize local businesses, entrepreneurs, and nonprofits in that evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Seymour. Anyone else? Seeing none, the next item on the agenda is the city manager's report.
Madam Mayor, thank you. Just very briefly, I'm going to welcome and recognize our dais tonight, Abby Fitch, and I want to thank Abby for stepping up. She's been with the city for a couple of years and is now stepping into the role of acting city clerk. Appreciate that an awful lot, Abby, and your professionalism that you've had for us this past year, and thank you. I just want to recognize, I know that she's gone, but I want to say on the dais publicly and provide my appreciation and respect for Michelle Parker. She was our city clerk for 5 years, and Michelle has moved on. We'll miss Michelle. She did a terrific job as our city clerk, and I was really proud to work with her. And that's a huge loss, but Abby, we thank you so much for stepping in. That's all I have, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Tripp. On tonight's agenda, the only item of business is 3 executive sessions. However, we did have 4 information-only items. I wanted to draw attention from my colleagues to those items and see if anyone had questions that they'd like to ask now, or if they remind them that they can email questions that they have on these items. For the public's benefit, the 4 information-only items were: first, the Stanley Lake Security Assessment Update; 2, the overview of draft Federal Boulevard Multimodal Transportation Study; 3, report of final costs for the July 20th, 2021 special recall election; and 4, West 73rd Avenue and Lowell Boulevard property update. Does anyone have questions at this time that they'd like in the record? Councilor Voles.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Mayor. I'm still kind of reading through these. They're kind of lengthy, a couple of them. I want to ask if I can ask questions about those if I have them next week's meeting. Would that be possible?
You sure could.
Okay.
And I would tell you that when FYI items come on your agenda, those are always open to put back on the agenda as a study session item if you'd like.
Okay.
So if you see some of these that you'd like to have, we do have a pretty full agenda for the next couple of meetings, but we'll certainly try to get those on. We are available to answer maybe brief questions that you have from what's been presented to you in writing previous, but I just want to let you know if you want to talk further in more detail, we can certainly do that in study session.
Okay. Very good. Thank you, Mr. Grip. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Anyone else? Okay, seeing none, just remember if you do decide you'd like to know more about these items, you can always email staff or ask for a study session. Seeing that the only items before us now are the executive sessions, I'm going to ask City Attorney Frankel to please read the first title of the executive session.
Excuse me. Thank you, Madam Mayor. The first executive session that's scheduled is to discuss strategy and progress on a proposed economic development agreement with Stanley Productions LLC, the operator of the Westminster Alley Market Hall on Block B3 of downtown Westminster, pursuant to Colorado Revised Statute 246402-4E1 and Westminster Municipal Code 1113C4 and 7.
Thank you. Colleagues, we have just had the title of the executive session read into the public record. I'm going to poll each of you to see if you are willing to go into executive session on this item. I'm going to start with Councilor Scully.
Yes, ma'am, I'm ready.
Councilor Smith,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem,
Yes.
Councilor Seymour,
Yes.
Councilor Vols,
Yes.
and the mayor as well. City Attorney Frankel, will you please read the second executive session title?
I will, thank you. The second executive session for this evening is one to discuss a personnel matter, the city attorney's performance evaluation pursuant to Westminster Municipal Code Section 1113C1 and Colorado Revised Statute 246402-4F.
Colleagues, you have heard the title of this executive session. I'm going to poll each of you to see if you are willing to go into executive session on this item, starting with Councilor Scully.
I am ready, ma'am.
Councilor Smith,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem,
Yes.
Councilor Seymour,
Yes.
Councilor Vols,
Yes.
and the mayor as well. And now, City Attorney Frankel, I'd ask you to read the final executive session title.
Well, thank you, Madam Mayor. The third executive session for this evening is to discuss a personnel matter, the city manager's performance evaluation pursuant to Westminster Municipal Code Section 1113C1 and Colorado Revised Statute 246402-4F.
Colleagues, you've heard the title of the executive session. I'm going to poll each of you to see if you are willing to enter into this executive session. Councilor Scully,
Yes.
Councilor Smith,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem,
Yes.
Councilor Seymour,
Yes.
Councilor Vols,
Yes.
and the mayor as well. The time is 6:44, and this concludes the regular business of our study session.